Hello, lovely learners. Welcome back to ALifeLearned and introducing you, my dad,
Hi.
Bonner. Today we're going to hear his story about being homeless because despite all of my talk about poverty and homelessness, I've only ever been so far as being in a shelter, whereas my dad has actually been on the street. So, go ahead.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Well, what I'm about to talk to you about happened a number of years ago. But I had decided that I was going to start up a relationship here in the city of London. And so I was going to make a commitment with a woman. That, to make a long story short, didn't work out. And what happened was I ended up on the street. Who I thought I had friends, what I considered friends, who were supposed to help me out, ended up, the usual stabbing in the back. So I ended up on the street, and it was at the worst time that you could ever end up. It was after New Year's, beginning of January. It was one of those years that we hadn't had any snow and the temperature hadn't really dropped to about zero. But just after January, the temperature kind of went up for about 3, 4 days, and we got a lot of rain, and then we got a ton load of snow and rain and cold temperatures. And I was couch surfing, as you can imagine, and that even got swooped out from under me. At the last minute, when I came home or came to where I was staying, expecting to lay down, and I was tired that night, I was told, "Can you find somewhere else to stay?" Well, I didn't know anyone else here in the city but this person. And, well, sorry, my boyfriend's here and kind of needs some time, so can you come back later? Great. I ended up, after getting wet and cold and wandering the streets of the city all night, seeing all kinds of crazy stuff that, no one should really see, and I'm not kidding, on a cold leather couch in a garage and trying to stay warm and hoping that the person in the garage wasn't about to come out to catch me there on the couch. At any rate, before I knew it, I was finding myself at the shelters. And the worst part was, what the situation here in the city is that the shelters are overrun. And everything, they take all registrations between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m., and that's it. If you show up at 3:01, sorry, too late. And often in between those hours, there's no vacancy anyway. So a lot of people are ending up having to stay outside or having to stay in their relief area, which is around the back where you can hang out and for a few hours have a coffee, talk to some people, but you're really not supposed to be sleeping there. It's a big common area and a lot of stuff goes on. At the Salvation Army, it's basically the same thing too. It's every man for himself. It's survival of the fittest. Since the pandemic, a lot of them have been helped out with hotels, but they are full. Even a person who is just trying to stay overnight has to book way ahead because a lot of the hotels have been, which is a great thing, but it's temporary, unfortunately. And after this, excuse me, after this pandemic is over, they'll all flood the streets again. The streets are at this point getting overrun because people can't afford the rents anymore. There's no jobs, and they're getting kicked out and having to fend for themselves, sometimes for the first time. It's a scary, discerning, um, uh, frustrating situation to be in. If no one has ever experienced it before, I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. We really need to sort out our social programs within this country. We really need to make priority, first and foremost, on this situation. Without a home, how are you supposed to move forward? Without a roof over your head, how are you supposed to feel any sort of confidence to want to or have to make something better toward your community and toward yourself? When you're homeless, you seem to sit into a vicious circle. You have to climb, you have to claw. It's not the first time this has happened to me. This was the last time, however. And some people never ever come out of it. unfortunately, and that's where they end up finishing their lives, and it's such a shame. It's not right. We are supposed to be a first world country. What happened to taking care of your fellow man? So I just wanted to share that experience, which was in my life the last experience. Maybe in future we'll come back and tell you about the first time that happened to me, and that never anything like that had happened to me before, and it really changes you as a person. They say it builds character, but I think there's better ways of building character in a person than taking the roof out from their head. So thank you. Appreciate you listening to me.
Yeah. So that was just kind of a summary of his experience in general. There's a lot more to tell if you guys are interested. So do comment below if you want to hear more. He actually was homeless in Toronto when I was just a little kid. That was his first experience. And in both occasions, he mentioned to me that someone helped him off the street. And that's ultimately the only reason that he's not still homeless. I'm poor. The rest of my family's poor. My place is so small. I literally don't even have a couch to give him. So like, and this is a situation that he's been in a lot of cases where everyone he knows is also poor and is not in really a situation to help him. But ultimately, he did know someone who could help. And the reason a lot of people end up on the street and they don't end up, you could say, as lucky as my dad, is because they didn't have that one person to help them out and get them back stable enough to start having their own income and their own roof over their head. So just a few things to think about. If you have been homeless, or if you know anyone who's been homeless, please comment below, share their story, and share your thoughts on, the social systems and how you feel like it's contributing to the situation. I know we all have our different opinions. There are a lot of statistics that support that it's the system, not the people. So I do want to point to that, but at the same time, please do share your thoughts, because it's all about having a conversation and getting those conversations out so that we can together work to make change, So anyways, thanks, Dad. I appreciate it. And maybe we'll bring him back. You guys let me know if you're interested. Otherwise, please do join me again next week or sometime soon, where I try again to share a little something I've learned or my dad has experienced in life.